don't cheese pick. Maybe you just let them do everything.
Oh.
And, you wait for that mistake, kind of what we saw last in some of the previous games. You find those moments, and if there's a team that can find moments, it's a team that's been around for a while, that can spot those exact times that, oh, they just messed up. Let's capitalize on it.
And I think the evolution of NIP Flash has also been pretty heartwarming to look at as well. Like when there was this season, right, they almost didn't win the MPL SG trophy. And of course, we all remember that brave moment that allowed NIP Flash to make a comeback. But you look back at that instance, you can see even Hades at that point of time, first season with the team, was already in despair, right? Already hopeless. And people were even kind of coining NIP Flash at that time as Hades Gaming. But right now, it's not just Hades, it's Cortese, it's Vanix, it's everyone else on the team. Diablo, yeah.
Can't forget about, and Emperor Akihiro, JPL.
JPL.
Can't forget about it. So yeah, Team Flash really has evolved, and they've evolved because they've. I know from their interviews they've also spoken about how they've grown their mentality in their road to becoming 3-time champions in Singapore. I just want to ask you guys, a little bit cheesy here, but very quickly, just so that our newer fans can get to know more things about you. Trex, who's your emotional pillar in your in your life as an esports personality?
Like, the person has to be in esports.
Not necessarily, but who's your emotional pillar? Let's go.
Oh, that keeps me going?
That keeps you going.
Well, I have a daughter. I have a wife, you know. But other than that, it's Mr. Assassin Dave Mao. Shout out to Mr. Mao. He's my emotional pillar.
in esports.
In esports.
Shout out to Mr. Mao, to Assassin Dave there. What about you, Husky? Don't tell me it's LaFell.
I mean, I would like to, but LaFell is the complete opposite, right? He's the reason I extended my therapy session. But in all seriousness, of course, my girlfriend, shout out to you out there. You're probably not watching because you're busy at work, but still. And of course, everyone else in esports. I think being at the M6 desk didn't come, it didn't fall from the sky, right? It's everyone around me that made this happen. So yeah, everyone is an emotional support pillar. You are an emotional pillar.
Am I?
You are like the Hello Panda to me.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you said you added emotional before pillar, because if you called me as just a pillar, I think I'd be a bit offended. But there we go.
Who's yours?
Who's mine?
Yours?
Yeah, who's yours?
Hey Vey, hello. Let's leave it at that.
Okay.
There's a little bit more of that. I'm gonna start blushing on this stage if I start speaking a little bit more.
He's turning red.
Brigitte, don't look at me. Don't look at me right now, Brigitte. Okay.
You okay? You're starting to turn red. You got that Asian flush going on.
Am I actually turning red?
And when are you gonna get one of these?
Oh, okay, way too far ahead for that one, yo. Let's slow our roll just a little bit, all right? Do we have any more topics available? Because I think I'm starting to sweat here. All right, our predictions. Okay. As much as I love the story of CFU, the climb that they went on, I think I'm still blushing. There's something just about the Singaporeans finally making it back into the top 4 after MSC that I feel like they're going to continue that role, and I think they're going to walk away with this one. I'm going for NIP Flash.
I've gotten both my predictions wrong, so now I'm a bit scared. But NIP Flash, right? I need to please my neighbors because I'm flying to Singapore in 2 months, and I don't want to get mobbed at the airport. So NIP Flash.
Okay. What about you?
I am not going to do the whole one of us has to be the opposite, because I am also going to go with NIP Flash. I think having Hades, having JPL, having the rest of the team, I think they just have a lot of versatility. They have the insane picks, but they can also play a steady game. And after seeing them in MSC, I'm excited for them here.
Yeah. All right, that's it. Our predictions locked in. It is an NIP Flash prediction table here, which I feel like just is kind of poetic or appropriate for the story of CFU gaming, in the sense that a lot of people expect them, or for the Cambodian scene, after their second loss, going to the third playoffs straight that they went on, they expected, CFU's they're not gonna make it. They always, excuse me for using the word, they always choke. But then finally, they didn't choke. They finally became champions. So now, back finally in the world stage for their first match here in Swiss, it's kind of poetic that if they take this victory, it just adds to the legacy and lore of CFU and of CFU gaming. Speaking of, let's talk about their opponents a little bit more. Let's give them the highlight. The kings, the overlords of Singapore. It's NIP Flash.
Okay, so we have Vanix in the gold, JPL as the roam, Cortese as the mid, Hades as the jungle, and Diablo as the EXP. Now, for me, my eyes are all on Diablo here. We've seen how important an EXP laner can be, getting those rotations first to these big fights, setting up for the team, and whether you want to be the tanky EXP or the aggressive in-your-face EXP, I think Diablo can play both of those, but also JPL and Hades, depending on how they play this out, could be the most important people on the team.
Oh, definitely. So, Vanix, let's see you step up because we've known the other members of NIP Flash to go for absolutely flashy playstyles. But going up against them, again, of course, it's CFU Gaming, the newly crowned, finally, as they would say, Kings of Cambodia.
Absolutely, and of course in the starting lineup we got Xing as the gold lane, Oppi in the roam, Z in the mid lane, Detective in the jungle, and Wadu as the XP laner. Looking at this lineup, I'm looking at Oppi for sure, right? He has been the mental support for the team. He's the one that kind of brought that veteran experience since M2 when he was still with Impunity Cambodia, and of course he has history with JPL. They faced off a couple of years ago, so I think that mental resilience that Oppi brings to the team is going to help skyrocket their performance.
Let's see just how resilient they can be up against a team known to pack surprises. It's all about mindset. By the way, we got to talk a little bit with Diablo and OP, talking about their buffs. All right, I think, guys, we get a second chance to actually get this right. Okay,
all right.
So the question was posed, between OP and Diablo, whose girlfriend buff is stronger?
Of course mine. We've been together for 3 years.
Nah, fam. My girlfriend buff got me 4th place at MSC. Let's see if yours can do the same.
Yeah, okay. So, of course, emotional pillars. That was one of the questions we posed earlier. And a lot of professional MLBB players have been vocal about their significant others playing major roles in their lives. So, CFU Gaming. Now, as we head into this draft, you know, they've always been a team that during the height of the tanky meta, Detective was definitely Detective Fredrin. The dude really knew how to rotate and play with that hero. I wonder if you're going up against a team that's known to go loco, what if you pull a BTK and just pull the safest guy in the jungle as your pick?
I would definitely consider that. But then again, remember the whole Fredrin Martis thing? Cortese does play Martis mid lane. We've seen that come up before. That could be kind of the wildest matchup that you can expect if we go down the Detective Fredrin route. We just have to kind of see, right? I think for CFU, on that blue side, they always love to secure that first pick for themselves. It's very important for CFU on that blue side to get that advantage.
Speaking of blue side, so far the past 2 games, blue side has won.
Yes.
S2G was blue side, BTK was blue side. I wonder if we're going to start seeing a trend as these games move forward. If there is an advantage to it, whether you say it's 55% or so, that could be huge for CFU.
I think for NIP Flash here, and one thing I've learned is that the first 2 picks on the red side now aren't as assured of win anymore.
Oh yeah.
That if you rush big time winning picks in the red side as your first 2, the next 2 picks in the blue side to round out the first phase could actually beat those already. So I think maybe that's why we're starting to see blue side starting to rise yet again.
Yeah, and for CFU, they always love to get that flex pick for first pick on blue side. It is sort of the trend right now for every other team out there, but for CFU, it has been their identity.
Yeah, I think to back up that statement, Renmars, it's the fact that the meta is just so wide right now.
Yeah.
There's no, I mean, there's what we're seeing on the ban table, like the Jushin, the Yves, some of those things. Yes, those are kind of pick or ban, but everything else is still kind of up in the air as we see the alpha coming in this time. The Lu Yi getting played, a pick that we only saw from a few teams in wildcard, and we saw for a while just completely drop off the map.
Yeah, and now it's actually getting prioritized by NIP Flash in the very first phase of red side. By the way, at M2, OP of Impunity back then battled JPL of EVOS SG in a play-in match where EVOS won 2-0 and secured a playoff spot. So a little bit of a revenge storyline for OP up against the roamer of NIP Flash in JPL.
Yeah, I mean, some vendetta carry through generations, and the fact that Oppi, when he joined CFU, kind of brought him to that trophy after so long, and being able to face up against JPL makes up a storyline on its own. But like I think we kind of went through how CFU might want to just go for the safest approach. This Valentina is also one of the few picks that you can just take the diversion and play the Loi into the Loi.
Yeah, not to mention they also have to worry about what they're going to pick in response as well and give over the Valentina. Nip Flash, on the other hand, do we take the, do we pick up a marksman here? Do we save it for later? A lot of teams have been willing. We saw it in some of the previous games. They'll let the marksman fall back into the second phase. Once the Bruno's gone, there's still plenty of options, and it's not an easy role to just completely ban out and make them useless.
That's true. Loi Harith is a usual combo alongside an Alpha for really quick snowballing if they want to match that. But yeah, I could also see them not going into the second phase with a gold laner. They show up a Granger, which... No way. No, that's
No way
not,
he goes jungle here.
No way it goes jungle or anything.
knows?
Who knows? Who knows with NIP Flash? But as
Maybe it'll go mid and they'll put Luigi in the gold or something. Who knows?
No way.
Diablo Granger, right? Who knows?
Or Diablo Granger? EXP?
Yeah, why not? You know?
Yeah, they can play whatever they want.
Yeah, okay. But let's go into it with a mindset of Alpha Jungle, Mid Low Yi, Gold Granger. So EXP and Roamer is what they're going to be needing.
I think on that red side, high chance NIP Flash just keeps Diablo pick for last, right? He is kind of that X factor. You still have the tank Nadeda if NIP Flash wants to go for that. They're gonna start banning out the junglers to just give Hades a better time, but at the same time, you also don't want that backline dive to threaten with it banning.
Yeah, so I think CFU, ban out EXP, maybe ban out the Cho here. I like the Benedetta, especially, it makes me think that they want to put this Hylos into EXP, so maybe slow down anything that can really out-rotate that EXP laner. But still, CFU with options, able to flex here on the side of NIP Flash. Do we keep on going into the jungle? They take out the Joy. CFU last ban. Do we take out the Cho here?
Cho or Gatot Gacha, I think, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like taking on the Gatot makes a lot more sense than the Cho. It's a lot more easier to manage, I think, if the Cho goes over to JPL than the Gatot. I don't think Diablo plays the Cho XP either.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So if ever, I'd want to see maybe the Roamer for...
Oh,
Matilda's still, yeah, good ban.
okay.
Yeah, we'll get Matilda still.
Matilda and Alpha scary. Pair that up as well with the Granger. It's a lot of movement and it's pretty aggressive. So covering their bases. NIP Flash, do they go for something flexible here as well, like a Gatot that maybe they can still flex and make CFU show their cards first?
Yeah, maybe. That would be a good approach. But there's one pick that my head goes to, and it's a Jawhead for JPL.
That too.
I don't see enough right now to warrant it being picked fourth. If ever they're going to go Jawhead, again, that used to be one of his iconic pickups back in the M3 days, even M2. So if they want to consider that, that's going to really facilitate a snowballing, aggressive style of composition. But they show the Tigreal. Okay, so they go for stability, but giving away a big ticket ultimate to the Valentina of CFU.
Incredibly big ticket. So they do keep Diablo's pick for last. There really isn't too many options left. If they want to go for the Cho, there is still sort of that hero too. You could kind of play this double roam composition.
Need a
There's the
jungler.
Gatot Gacha.
Yeah.
Suyo?
Oh, so, whoa.
Suyo's open, right?
Suyo made it all the way to the last.
Suyo's
Yeah,
still
Suyo,
open.
yeah.
Definitely viable, definitely
knows that
possible.
lane.
Yeah, and I think they go for it. There we go.
And they take the
And
Cho
the
away.
Cho. Ooh, they really hammered down. I'm loving the draft of CFU right now, by the way. However, it's my old concern of not enough magic. High loss and a Valentina together, that's not going to be enough magic damage.
Magic is might.
Yeah, magic is might.
Magic
Really.
is might.
Yeah, especially we saw it in the last one. I mean, the low Yi of Hoon was like the highest damage dealer.
Yeah.
I
Aurora,
wonder-
Rosa as well.
Yeah, Aurora for Rosa. I don't know why. Maybe it's NIP Flash. I'm forced to overthink. I'm thinking they're going to do something crazy with either
Wait.
the Alpha or the Tig.
They have done Loi Paquito before. I'm not sure if Paquito is still a thing in the XP, but it was an NIP Flash special. They go for the CC, so it's a way safer approach.
CC solid. You get to kite against the Hylos. You can kite against the Suyo. You definitely have that possibility. What you lack with that is crowd control, but they make up with that with the Lu Yi and the Tigreal. So I think overall a solid pick.
Oh, I feel like a solid drafts all around. Yes, yeah. All right, cool. NIP Flash versus CFU, best of one. Bring it on, Mirko. What do you guys think?
Welcome back to the caster's desk. I think NIP Flash. I think they're still NIP Flash at the end of the day, so they're sticking with at least bringing in one surprise before we end the draft.
I agree. You know, NIP, Nip Flash are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you can use or say anything you want. I think.
Hey,
at this point.
I met their owner
Okay.
at MSC. He said it's okay. He said if Mirko says it's okay. This
So
one though.
he has a pass. I don't think I have that, and I do not want to use that. So I'm going with NIP Flash as we head into the third series of the day. The day has been filled with surprises, upsets even for this match. We've seen our 3 panelists vote for NIP Flash, so let's see how this goes because CFU, it seems like they're going to stick with that really early game snowball reliant and objective conversion mindset when it comes to playing, especially with the Bruno in their hands for this game.
Oh yeah, I really like CFU Gaming's draft here. I personally would actually go for CFU Gaming's draft here in the way that they actually can control neutral objectives with the Cho, right? Going up against the Alpha, Cho is such a massive pick, and honestly, the Valentina, we didn't expect the Tigreal to come out for NIP Flash with the Valentina already picked up by CFU, but it does seem like here, Letho is going to go towards CFU. Emblem-wise, it's the weapon mastery for the Bruno. Full tankiness for Wadu here. Just wants to be the main frontliner up against NIP Flash.
And I'm only thinking about, like, how will NIP Flash even approach what we already all are expecting from CFU in terms of how they're going to play the early stages of the game? Are they still going to stick with those unexpected rotations and whatnot, because we also know that at the helm, or with JPL and Curtisi at the helm, they typically really go for the more aggressive rotations, but this is a Cho and a Valentina that we're talking about. You mentioned it earlier, this is a really great mid-duo if you're talking about controlling the mid lane.
You can see Detective rotating over again. This is how impressive the Loyi is. This is why it's always usually actually contested a lot in the first phase. Didn't really expect CFU to let this go, knowing that CFU really likes to teleport. Back in the day of the chip, the Loyi, they actually doubled down on that in their own meta before. In Season 13 of MPLs, we saw the whole chip Loyi combo.
Yeah.
Now OP, shove back. Great Shunpu to escape from that shove.
Yep. So now NIP Flash, they'll be able to set up for this Lord, and this is something we'd probably really expect from them. They're going to play around Hades, really allow him to lead the early stages of the game, but now that Curtisi, he got poked low, still they get the turtle though, but then...
Yep, Hades gonna be caught. Detective finds first blood. JPL locked in with the curtain call, still able to flicker out for now, but OP goes in. Great yin yang reaction. OP with the body block. Diablo walking forward, finding the kill. That's a double for Detective. It's a 2-for-1 trade for now, but remember, NIP Flash did get that turtle.
Yes, they did get that turtle, and they were able to go for what they wanted to after. This is something you'd really expect from NIP Flash, considering the lineup that they have. But here in the top lane, Vanix, he seems to be having a really good time in playing the lane matchup up against Zing. He nearly has to reset after the damage that he's been able to throw out.
Yeah, once you get the ultimate, it's definitely way easier for you to actually win out on the lane, get that poke in with the Dead Sonata. It does seem like, I mean, for Sing, he has to use a slide tackle forward to actually deal out some damage onto the Granger, right? So we haven't seen this a whole lot. Whenever you see the Bruno, apparently the Granger is the pick. It's currently 1-1. We've seen a Bruno win, we've seen a Granger win.
Yep.
Let's see what NIP Flash can do with it, right? Yeah. JPL so far, that's the big problem that we were talking about. When you go for the Tigreal against the Valentina, it was a great ult for Z to take.
And so far, we've been so focused on the mid lane, Mirko. Like, we haven't seen some rotations heading towards the gold lane or the XP lane even. It's more of the gold laners, the XP laners, actually rotating out of their lanes and joining the fights we're seeing in the mid lane. And now there might be another one happening soon, especially as Diablo also finds himself nearby the next upcoming turtle. But OP!
Whoa, getting away and dragging down. But it's only on the JPL. The burst is there though. Detective makes quick work out of JPL. Was kicked over. 15 seconds for the turtle. So JPL should still be able to spawn in again. He already used the implosion earlier. NIP Flash, do they want to still contest? That's a diversion. They do want to ride again.
Oh, wait, detective. Oh, they find him!
And the Spear of Alpha straight into the Yang reaction. Diablo able to get that shut down. Now Sing caught in the Yang reaction again. Hades walking forward, doing some damage, and Sing goes into the Purify. Diablo knocked up by the Jeet Kune Do of Oppi. Great Terrify to combo it down. And NIP Flash, it looked good, but then CFU recovered.
Yep, the Revitalize was there. It was too much to handle for NIP Flash, who seemingly really had to commit since they found themselves in a position where they were surrounded by members from CFU Gaming. So instead of supposedly converting that into a turtle, it seems like they'll have to play safe for now. And Curteasy, C finds him in the middle lane.
It's a solo kill in the mid lane, C! Getting that kill over, even with the Purify, Curteasy unable to escape, and with the turtle, this puts CFU in a great position. Let's see, they walk up, Vanix will be able to clear out the wave, C. They stole the implosion, they know Vanix doesn't have the Purify, let's see. Way to drag it over to JPL, the implosion catches him, and that's gonna be Zeke looking for it, Vanix, body blocked by Sing! The bullets won't go through, Z's able to escape Hades. Now the Spear of Alpha trying to gap close, Wadu will be the sacrificial lamb, but they keep their carries alive.
The body block, you mentioned it! The way CFU Gaming constantly is able to protect their crucial members. They might have to give up this first tier turret in the top lane, but still there's a great trade provided to us here by Detective. That's the mid lane turret we're talking about. And CFU, they'll gain better access towards the map of NIP Flash. They could potentially scout the members a lot more better. And in terms of scouting, that's something you definitely could rely OP on for. He could just get the information as much as he wants.
Then Shunpu's out, Way the Dragon, and so far, I have to give it to OP, man. He's been able to play the Cho really well. We saw the combo almost to get Hades away from the first turtle. Unfortunately, they didn't time it as well, but it's still, I mean, it was a great idea, great execution. Hades is just crazy on the retribution, but then Turtle 2 onwards, you saw the change of Prio. OP started to just go on to JPL so that there were no sets available for NIP Flash to look for onto CFU, and that has created kind of a safe haven, or a safety net rather, for Z and Sing, and yeah, Z always on that implosion. OP.
Okay.
Again goes into the back, finds a way to Dragon. Purify baited out. Now C has it. It's gonna be implosion over to two members. Spear of Alpha to actually peel out. C will be able to get the implosion down, but it's only on to JPL. Caught in the midst of it all, will be taken down by Curteasy. The Album of Vengeance baiting him into the Yin Yang reaction. Vanix unable to get the Death Sonata down, and now JPL goes able to shove the diversion into the back line, and Sing goes in with a slide tackle, but now gets caught by the Yin Yang reaction again. Diablo hiding away. That's the gun down from Vanix as Hades just slashes through them, but Detective walks forward. Now has to dodge away. They gotta play it clean. OP, can he run away? No. Vanix chases him down. Death Sonata, one last shot. Detective walks away.
We saw the sustain from CFU one time, but in terms of these really tricky positions and in moments where they're not exactly at an advantage, it might not be the best idea to pursue these team fights. NIP Flash, they were able to somewhat kite them towards their farm and their jungle, and they were just able to buy enough time. They were the ones who were able to sustain that team fight and surround CFU Gaming, even using the diversion last minute to actually continue that team fight, which was clearly a win for NIP Flash. Now they're ahead in terms of gold against CFU Gaming, and they'll probably start to try and engage in more team fights from this point onwards so that they too could actually get some conversions, they could get some objectives, and they definitely want to secure this first Lord for themselves.
I just want to say, you know, for NIP Flash for Vanix, it just feels like the Granger revamp fits him so well. This pick fits him so well. The old reliable Vanix in the lane who just wants to play safe as well. In this composition, it's so hard to get to Vanix. You bait out the Purify, sure, but you bait out your own Flicker for OP. And then at that time, Z doesn't really have a gap closer to get in. Usually we see maybe a Flicker for the Valentina, but Z has gone for Purify, which is safer, but you can't make those plays. You can't actually dive onto Vanix that easily. There's so much peel for NIP Flash, and you can see the items building up. Hades just walks in, will be able to Spear of Alpha out of there, knows that there is the reaction and the Death Sonata, the poke that we've seen just last game too. Loyi Granger seems to be the combination. Diversion, let's see if we catch him. He's still up top. For the siege onto the turret. They will be able to get the turret.
That's 4 members though. Feels easy.
Good spot out. The Yin Yang reaction captures them. The Spirit of Alpha punishes them, and now Hades is caught in the midst of it all. Implosion from JPL finds 2. OP can only just run away. Vanix needs one last shot. OP, 1 HP, gets away. The sole member of CFU who survived the onslaught of NIP Flash.
Nearly a wipeout there for CFU Gaming. And as you mentioned, this is the moment where NIP Flash, instead of playing around Hades, they'll start to make some setups for Vanix. And that's exactly what we've seen. A beautiful rotation dispersion combo, followed up by a precise Spear of Alpha. Let's check it out in this instant replay. Catching 2 members immediately. So in as much as Wadu and the rest of the members of NIP Flash tried to go for a counter engage up against CFU Gaming, that was just too much for CFU. They were able to allow Vanix to just really throw all those bullets towards key targets, and they now are actually taking control of this game with the Lord.
It's so much of an advantage with the Lord. The siege potential. You can see the range technically already for Vanix. Another diversion.
Another diversion.
Catch. Sing, you gotta be real careful here, buddy. Spear of Alpha from Hades. Oh, he gets the Purify out of time. JPL finds the implosion, and Sing will fall. A yin-yang reaction brings them back. Now without Sing, without Wadu, no frontliner, no main damage dealer, Hades is free to do whatever he wants. Z goes for an implosion, finds Curtizi, but now gets slashed down by Hades. Diablo and Hades. The double D combo is online.
Could this potentially be the fastest game we're about to see this day? They still have 1 minion wave, but Detective and OP, they might still be able to defend this. So they prolong the game a little longer. But this is a difficult spot for CFU Gaming. We know them to be a team who could really hold on to their advantages, but eventually get some slip-ups or some mistakes towards the late game whenever they already have the advantage in their hands. But this is a different scenario. They're actually behind. They weren't able to capitalize as much on their early game. They were able to for a moment, but NIP Flash just immediately turned things around.
It's the fastest level 15, apparently. There you go. We got some fun facts for you guys. Hades gets it. Oh, another implosion. Red out. JPL gets the implosion again. Brings him all the way back. Sing. So able to slide tackle forward. Now Hades can be kicked in by the way to Dragon. And it's a full combo onto Hades. Somehow he's still alive, though. What? The Worldie will finally bounce onto him. And Sing gets the shutdown. Hades 4Z.
There's a minute left before the next Lord, and I doubt that it would be that felt for NIP Flash, but still we see how they cannot afford to still make some mistakes up against this lineup of CFU Gaming. At that moment, Wadu was well prepared to actually block the members of NIP Flash, and he saw the attempt coming in from NIP Flash. So we've seen consistent diversion plays here for Curtizi. Majority of them were really successful, but at this point in time where you're this much ahead, you really cannot afford to make those mistakes, which would give those opportunities to CFU Gaming.
CFU are just trying to look for trades at this point of the game, right? And NIP Flash, any sort of trade, whenever they want to walk off their base, they got to think of diversions.
Right.
Where's the diversion gonna go? Where's Curtizi gonna go? Oh, it's just so tough at this point. They have frontliners who can engage. They have Diablo as a secondary damage dealer who is very tanky.
Yeah.
Anti-Chris Winter Crown.
Yeah, actually earlier I was thinking there were so many sources of engage for NIP Flash. Like there are a lot of members who could go in first, but now that they were able to take hold of some Winter Crowns, I'm expecting a lot more playmaking here for NIP Flash. But who will be the ones to make the play? Because CFU, they take control of the Lord pit.
Oh, Z went for the implosion, but Hades goes in for the fight. They get the Lord, but now they're going to lose out. JPL, that's an implosion. Not able to connect now, but it's going to be Wadu caught in the bad spot. Vanix almost taken out by Sing. He wants to go back in. Sing, you mad lad! Oh my goodness! Slide tackles forward, gets the kill! Almost kites away! Detective, he needs one last shot. Vanix and Diablo are so low, but they managed to get away.
Okay, that was a series of unexpected events for both sides. The implosion did not necessarily connect onto Sing, or at least he was able to purify out of it, so he was able to reposition himself and find key targets from NIP Flash. And that very brave play we saw from him potentially could have been a really huge game changer if not for that evil queller from Detective, which really did not connect to those members of NIP Flash who were really low on HP. So now they'll have at least a complete 5-man lineup to defend this incoming Lord, and CFU Gaming may not be able to take an inhibitor turret out of this.
It was a greedy play, man. It was a gamble to play. Sing wanted to go for the slide tackle, perhaps. If he got one last shot onto Vanix, or if Detective got that arrow shot, it would have changed a lot of things, but the gamble so far hasn't paid off. And NIP Flash, they're forced back again. The Lord Advantage will get them a few turrets here and there. It'll be a tier 2 in the bottom lane, so at least the gold lead won't be as big, right? We're getting into that equilibrium point for both these teams. I think it's back to what we saw in game 1. Yeah. It's a scaling battle, and then in that case, who actually scales better? I'm confused, right? The Bruno and the Granger. Technically, you have more bullets with the Granger, but you do a bit more damage with the crits. Oh, OP finding the way to Dragon, baiting on the Purify now. As C walks up, Cortese's gonna fall. Sing's able to cut away, but the guns comes down. Good body block from Detective. Sing almost slashed down by Hades. That's what revitalizes. Vadu goes in. Z is able to shut some damage. Implosion, catching Vanix, but it's a good Purify, and JPL will do the same. Now one last step Sonata is what Vanix needs. He comes in with a Rhapsody to take 2 down. Sing going in, baited in by the winner Crown. Vanix with the win of nature and a triple to end the fight on. Detective running away, and NIP Flash should be happy with the fight.
I don't know if that answers our question, because in some ways it did seem like it was an unexpected team fight here, which just suddenly happened out of the blue for our teams. There wasn't really an accurate setup coming in from CFU Gaming, and it seemed like even the IMU, or the implosion that was copied here by Z, was just used to actually prevent the members of NIP Flash from chasing down the other members of CFU Gaming. So it was a really reactive team fight that we've seen from both sides. And could this be a question that we really have to ask ourselves? Like, who will be, or who should be more careful at this point? Because there has been a lot of little mistakes that both teams have been able to really capitalize on from each other.
It's all about the punishments, and this time NIP Flash read into that, right? We saw CFU Gaming, they were able to sneak out a Lord earlier by just having more control around the Lord pit. NIP Flash got a bit too comfortable with the diversion. Now though, Water's walking up with the glorious pathway. JPL catches 2. The Spirit of Alpha gets them out. OP though. In the back is going to be Detective doing a lot of damage onto the back line. JPL low. Vanix able to get the godlike down. Detective with a dive. Gets caught by the in-air reaction, and Sing takes him down. It's a big shutdown. That was an 8-kill bounty. Z is hunting for JPL. That's a shove, that's a conceal, and an escape, but they will concede the Lord to CFU.
It seems like we've been asking who could actually take advantage of these really close team fights, these 5-on-5 team fights a lot more. And you would think immediately, probably Cortese, probably all those yin-yang reactions, but CFU Gaming at that moment, even though they also lost Detective, even though they lost Wadu, they were able to force NIP Flash out of that Lord pit. They now have the Lord in their hands, and they just have to be really extra careful this time, because CFU Gaming, they cannot afford to make mistakes. This is the second opportunity that they've had to actually crack NIP Flash's base open.
And now we question the siege, or maybe the defense even from NIP Flash. They have what it takes to actually defend this. The vengeance will be up for Diablo. Cortese should have to Purify back up, but if CFU Gaming just try to push into pace, it's gonna be real tough. Z steals away the implosion. JPL doesn't have that big playmaking tool, but you can see the poke already from Vanix. That's a charge into the bottom lane. That base switch should be falling down. Sing very low though. OP finding the way to Dragon. Cortese is down. Vanix on the back line. Z gets an implosion. That was 3 members caught in it, but Vanix is free. Now hitting onto OP with a Rhapsody. That's a double Detective. Gets the Soul Sever. NIP Flash fighting for dear life. Sing able to kite away. It's a wipeout! NIP Flash have fallen, and CFU Gaming continues the upset route.
This day has been insane! Surprises, upsets here and there, and CFU Gaming, they've shown us their growth, just how prepared they are coming into this match against a team who you could not really know how to prepare against, who you would supposedly expect endless surprises from, but they just take them out and take the series.
3 matches, 3 upsets. This is the Swiss stage. This is the best of 1.
I cannot believe this is how we're starting day number 1. Let's head it over back to our panel and let them break this down for us.
Like we told you, it's a much better story, isn't it? With a lot of us predicting that NIP Flash would take the win here. Here comes CFU of Cambodia, showing that they deserve to be in this spot and getting that victory. Husky, you mentioned something to me. you said it really looked like CFU did their homework.
Oh yeah, they definitely did. I think CFU in that drafting phase, you look at the first phase ban, right? They banned the Khalid, which is the cornerstone for NIP Flash. You know, Diablo loves playing the Khalid. We've seen JPL do that every once in a while, but JPL prefers a more pick-off style, right?
Yeah.
Then they take the Cho away from JPL, and then they also take out the Benedetta, which is a pick usually you don't really ban against much teams, but Diablo in particular is great on that hero. So CFU not only came prepared, they also forced NIP Flash into a draft where NIP Flash are forced to play more as a team instead of those pick-up comps and allow CFU to be on the aggressive end.
Real quick reaction from you, Trex. Surprised? How do you feel?
I mean, I've learned my lesson. Whatever you guys vote for, don't vote for.
Come
That's
on.
rule number one of casting with these two. And you've now tarnished my record. But hey, we're still here.
All right, let's go on over to the stage with a quick word from a member of CFU.
A day filled with surprises. Just the third round of our Swiss stage, and teams are already getting to each other left and right. Games are getting very, very intense. Now with me here, we have OP from CFU. First of all, how are you? We could see that it was a comeback game. NIP Flash was literally leading. They were near your base. How are you? How did you guys manage to fight back and push back to win that game?
I'm good. I'm confident with my goal laner. He led game, he must fire.
So the fire was there for Bruno just now.
Yeah, I trust him so much.
You trust him so much. I think that's very important because we need to trust our teammate, right, OP? Okay, now OP. The last time you were in the M series, it was M2, and now it's M6. How do you feel to be back on the world stage?
I'm thinking feel good because I'm too. I never win. I think in M2 I got 0 points.
Oh, in M2 you got 0 points.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that you're back, what do you have to say to the Cambodian fans? Maybe a promise on how CFU will be doing this time around in this M series?
ជាដំបូងមកបើខ្ញុំអរគុណទៅដល់ fan នៅខ្មែរទាំងអស់ខ្ញុំអរគុណខ្លាំងមែនតើអ្នកទស្សនាតាមការ live stream ហើយអ្នកមកមើលផ្ទាល់អរគុណច្រើនមែនតើហើយខ្ញុំសង្ឃឹមថាអ្នកនរគ្នានឹងគ្រប់គ្រងពួកខ្ញុំបន្តទៀតពួកខ្ញុំនឹងខំប្រឹងអស់ពីសមត្ថភាពអ្វីដែលពួកខ្ញុំធ្វើបានខ្ញុំនឹងធ្វើជូនខ្មែរទាំងអស់
So he said that he thankful for all the fans that keep supporting him or watching live or watching over here, and also yes, he will keep doing their best and try the hardest for the national.
All right, thank you very much to OP. An amazing game. I think we could see how intense it was. It is now time to throw it back to the panel to break down what happened in this game. Can a panel take it away?
Thank you, Rose, and of course, congratulations again to CFU. A lot to break down here because it was a big back and forth. It looked like it was gonna be on the road to being a little bit more one-sided with CFU having a better early game, but then suddenly here comes NIP Flash, and then it just became a big back and forth of. I think the word that we use here is brawl, and that's not me undermining their performance. It was just a very fight-heavy game. And I think the lineups actually called for it because of the draft that we had with, especially in the roams and the jungles that we have, fights are expected generally, yeah?
Yeah, I think overall it's just NIP Flash, they had that better start, right? Like Kurtisi was actively using that diversion to kind of get these off-tempo plays. First it was pickoffs, and then suddenly he was using it mid-fight to kind of catch up to CFU and pick off stragglers. But again, it's the same issue, the same hurdle that NIP Flash needs to get over from the series we watched just now. Or actually, no, the first one, when there was a Bruno on the other end, is how do you reach the Bruno, right? And NIP Flash at one point just didn't have the reach to get to Sing.
And even when they did, he had the Purify, right? He had the possibilities to still kind of get out of whatever the Tigreal brought, get out of maybe, get out of the proccing the
yin yang.
The yin yang.
That's not the duality. That's the name of the passive.
Yeah.
Getting out of the duality and just being able to continuously backstep. And the final cherry on that is that number 6 item, which didn't really come in until towards the end there. he gets the wind of nature. He's able to juggle it along with the immortality, which gives him even more sustainability in these team fights where he can actually pop off.
Yeah, but then as we went on a little bit longer, we started to see the strengths now of NIP Flash. Again, for CFU, they have a roam mid combo that shines with the micro pokes. But then for the side of NIP Flash is for the big wombo combos, and that's where they were able to get their victories. Although for better or for worse, let's focus on the combination of Cortese and Hades with the low E diversion and the Spear of Alpha from Hades.
Yeah, and it's the Spear of Alpha is always a very good tool, if not for damage, it's for crowd control. But we also kind of talk about the emblem setup a little bit, where Hades decided to go for Assassin, so more of a glass cannon build, but he was still able to make it work in that early to mid phase when Cortese is just bringing him around, getting these pickoffs on the key targets like the Bruno and the Suyo. But in that, when that late game started coming into play,
As planned, but in the end, it went as planned.
As we now look at the two junglers, Detective and Hades, Trexer, was something that you were pointing out to us behind as the game was going on, just how important the role of the Suyo and Alpha was to bridge for the marksman?
Yeah, I mean, both teams really needed a bridge. Hades bridged perfectly, I think, in the early game, creating space, giving his team. I mean, we saw Vanix really popping off in the mid game, 0 deaths for a while there. But Detective as well held his own. And as you said, when you look at certain stats, it looks like NIP won out. But when we look at CFU, when we look at Detective here, his kill assist is on point. He's able to keep his team in the game. His jungle, his minion, his turtle, and Lord overall. I mean, even though Detective maybe didn't look as flashy, he was holding his own throughout that game.
Yeah, and the times where CFU's Detective looked flashy, it was the times where it seemed like it was the perfect time for him to do that. It was, hey man, we need just a little bit more of a kill power to finish this off, and then here comes Detective with a Soul Sever to change the tides, to finally give a 100% sure win for CFU. And because of what he did as the jungler, his gold laner got to shine. GG is the MVP.
Yeah, really got to shine. Plenty of close shave for seeing a lot of times. He was kind of just walking away with like 1% health, but he made it out alive. But at one point, I think also he changed how he positioned in these fights, right? He has Purify to get him out of tough situations, but CFU as a whole also started understanding how NIP Flash wants to fight. Diablo wants to sneak into the backline, JPL wants to get that big implosion, and Xing being able to stay out of reach just allowed him to keep dealing damage without NIP Flash being able to follow up.
Yeah, I mean, the Malefic Gun, the Purify, and then the Quantum Charge just to give yourself even more movement in these fights just seems so disgusting on a Bruno. It just covers everything that Bruno is normally weak in, range, all those things. Now, taking a look at some of these replays at this time, this is what NIP had in the bag. Look, so many of their towers are still up.